Welcome, my fellow Virgos. Today we are doing a reading that is backed by popular demand called Person on Your Mind. So this is just, this is a love reading. So this would be whoever, who's ever on your mind. And we're going to ask five very specific questions. We're going to ask, what are their feelings for you right now? Um, what's their current view of you? What actions are they thinking of taking or going to take, preparing to take right now? And then your current view of them, which is important. I feel like that'll give us a big clue. And then the overall energy that's supporting this connection. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the Universal Tarot, which was just calling out to me for you. It's not a deck I normally use for Virgo, but it was just calling out to me. So, I trust my own intuition always, especially during readings. I let spirit just come through me. And then we will clarify with the Gilded Tarot if need be. And we are going to use Mother Mary for her words of wisdom. But we will use Mother Mary over the relationships, over the couples. Look, I'm already saying relationships. So maybe some things are, maybe for some, it may turn back into a relationship. So we'll see. Let's put them over there. And let's go ahead and give the Universal Tarot a couple shuffles. It is already pre-shuffled, just so you know. Um, but I want to shuffle for you. This is for Virgo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. It's really for anyone who just finds himself here. Um, there in some way, you must relate to Virgo in some way. And other than that, I feel like I don't want to put any restrictions on it because I know a lot of you follow your intuition, especially Virgos. You follow your intuition now, and you kind of feel like, I have a feeling this reading is for me. So let's go ahead and begin. I'm going to bring the lid down, and we are going to take from the top, and then we're going to come back and clarify, and then again take Mother Mary over over the love. So, what are their current feelings for you? Dun 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 dun. Six of Pentacles. So I feel like they feel you're compassionate, you're empathetic, you're a giver. You could be a taker. But I kind of feel like no. I feel like this is about your generosity. I feel a lot of good things with this energy. Um yeah, I just do. I feel a lot of good things. I feel like they notice your, again, your soul, your empathy towards your fellow man. I feel like that's a very good view, or their current feelings for you. Now let's look at their current view. We have judgment. Hmm, judgment. Wow. Makes me feel like their spiritual team is like calling them to the present moment. And by the way, we are looking at current energy. Judgment is one spiritual team. It is about a rebirth. It makes me feel like they want a rebirth. It makes me feel like they're just following what their guides are putting within them. And by the way, when I do these readings, I really feel like we're doing like soulmate type readings. Because I feel like these are the type of relationships that I do feel like can stand the test of time. Interesting. Interesting their view of you, because again, I feel like it's a very high view of you, and I feel like it's like their heart is being activated. Their spirit guides are being very active in their life right now, but maybe because they called upon their guides. Now, it doesn't mean they literally like, guides, please help me. Maybe they prayed to God, and maybe something is now going to be answered. But let's see, let's keep going. What actions are they currently taking or thinking of taking? Five of Swords. Now, do I feel that they're currently thinking of taking toxic energy? No. And why am I saying that? Because the person in the Five of Swords is looking back at judgment. So they know that whatever toxicity there was within a relationship, it would have to go, right? It would have to go to really allow this rebirth to happen. It just knows the six and the five, which is an 11. I feel like make a wish, but I also feel for some of you, it could speak about twin flame relationships also. Um, I feel like also for a few of you, there could have been toxic energy around you, and I feel like they don't like that. You know what I mean? It's almost like someone's not treating you right. They pick up on that, and they don't like that. Interesting. Okay. And yes, we will come back and clarify that. But again, five speaks of a change. So I do feel like they're thinking of making a change. Judgment speaks of a rebirth, right? Letting the past be, letting it go. And for some of you, I feel like, I definitely feel that connection of lifetimes. All right, let's see what your current view of them is. Huh, Virgo. Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups. Unconditional love. And it really does signify unconditional love. It means that we can go through these trials and tribulations and we can figure it out. And if we really want to come back together, we can. I mean, I definitely feel like you love this person. And maybe this person understands that, there could be certain energy they carry that would not serve moving forward. Because again, this person in the Five of Swords is looking right back at judgment. Like, I see you and you with the Ace of Cups and their view of you, loving, empathetic, compassionate, a giving soul. I mean, what more could I want with a person? All right, let's see what the overall connection or the overall energy that's supporting these connections. Interesting. Seven of Swords. I'm saying interesting because, well, first of all, Seven of Swords. Um, but Scorpio, I just did Scorpio's reading, and you have out of five cards so far, two that they also had. Now, the Seven of Swords supporting this energy, we need to think about this because, of course, deception, that's the energy of deception, envy. And listen, maybe that's what was. And maybe that's why this Five of Swords is here. Again, five, change. Also, I want to say with the seven of the Seven of Swords, very spiritual number, especially with your spiritual team, both your spiritual teams, front and present, front and center. All right, let's see what's on the bottom of the deck. Look at this. Five, six, seven. Ten of Swords. Listen, if this is a repeat pattern with someone, and by the way, in these readings, I'm not telling you to take anyone back. Like, I don't want you to do anything you don't want to do. Although the Ace of Cups did come under your view of them. And yes, it can be reversed. It could be, you could be interested in a Virgo. I don't know why I keep saying almost. I feel like for some, you were connected to someone who I do feel like they acted within lower vibrational energy. And I'm not giving them any excuses, but I feel like they had to learn. It's almost like that energy of you don't know what you got until it's gone. Well, now I know what I had, and now it's gone. I'm not worried about the Seven of Swords. I also feel like this is saying that someone is having or has had that realization that maybe their guides were an important part of making one have that realization of because I feel like over here you are empathetic, you care about your fellow man, you give, and here it feels more like where I take, and maybe that's what needs to come in balance. Because the Six of Pentacles really is about finding that balance. But listen, when your spiritual team is involved, when it's calling you to the present moment, and then a five follows, which is change, then I feel like change is what we will find. And then I also pick up that for some, that this person I felt like they dealt with a lot of hardships in their life, not just once, but throughout their life. And I feel like it made them, it's not who they are deep inside, but like what I show the world. It's almost like the sun sign is what I show the world. But I feel like you see them in a different light. You see them almost like I understand. I understand because you still have this love. Like, I understand. Seven of Swords can be that energy of taking because I'm just used to there not being enough to go around. Someone may have taken advantage of your compassion and empathy. But again, I feel like there's no way that that both spiritual teams would come out if this energy has not been reflected upon. See who's under that 10. Three of Pentacles. It's almost like we're trying to get it right. We're trying to get it right. All right, let's bring in the Gilded Tarot. And let's go above and potentially below. We'll see. I also want to say this could be like past lifetimes, like we've been in past lifetimes, and for some reason we can never get it together. And maybe this is another opportunity, but yet maybe the same lessons are there because, you know, if it was past lives and we didn't learn whatever lessons were presented, especially about love, then in a way, are we doomed to repeat it? I do feel like there's an opportunity to understand it. We went from the Ten of Swords down to the Five of Swords. I like that. It's almost like someone, and listen, I'm not going to put all the blame on them, but it does feel like someone understands, like I did put dagger after dagger in your back. But you may put a few in their back also. All right. I don't know why I stop in the middle of cutting cards, but when the messages come, the messages come. All right, let's go right above these. So their current feelings, we're getting the seven or the Six of Pentacles. We have the Ten of Wands, and we have the Queen of Swords. And I'm going to keep that right with the Six of Pentacles. I mean, Virgo, would I be fair if I said that, and I am a Virgo, and I do know that I tend to put the brunt of responsibility on my shoulders. Not necessarily in love, but like, in life, because I sometimes feel like, well, if I ask someone to do something, well, they're not going to do it the way I would. So just let me go ahead and do it. But maybe that became too much. You know what I mean? Maybe like the weight of it became too much. I feel like your voice is very healing for them. Like it carries a certain vibration that they pick up on in a good way. All right, let's keep going. Let's see what judgment has to say, other than calling really both to the present moment, telling both there's a potential of a rebirth. Interesting, we're getting two cards with every card. We have the Seven of Cups and we have the Page of Swords. Interesting, we have the Page of Swords and then the Queen of Swords. Can certainly be someone's younger energy and then current energy. And then the Seven of Cups over that. It's almost like someone has been asking themselves, should I reach out? And then pulls back. I feel like in their heart of hearts, they want to reach out, but then they pull back. But that doesn't mean that they don't think about that they're not thinking about reaching out. And I feel like if you feel this is your energy and this is something you want because you do have the Ace of Cups, and if their fear is reaching out because maybe they're just not sure how you're going to accept their communication, then I would reach out. You know what I mean? Like I would be the one to reach out because listen, I'd rather know if something's going to work or it's not. I don't want to wait. And right now, I feel like this person is a little bit in limbo, though I do feel like everything is telling me that they do want to contact you. And even their spiritual guides are being, you know, are nudging them. Listen, I feel like someone was a little difficult. I do feel that someone was a little difficult. And if we relate it back to the Seven of Swords, like I'm not feeling cheating here at all. It could have been someone who like told a lot of little white lies. And I feel like, I told those lies because maybe I have a hard time just facing truth. And truth is what I need to face. So I definitely feel like they're thinking of communicating. And again, if you feel this energy, if it was me, I'd probably reach out. Just like hey, just thinking about, yeah, how you been? Just opening up the conversation and seeing where it goes. Because I feel like maybe the reason I don't want to reach out is because, of course, I don't want to be rejected. But I feel like us Virgos would be like, I'd rather be rejected than sit here and wonder and wait. All right, well, let's keep going. So now we're looking at the Five of Swords, their current actions. Again, Five of Swords, it is toxicity, but it is a five. So it does speak of change. And again, this person is looking right back at their spiritual team who is calling for a rebirth. I know I keep saying the same thing over and over, but I feel like look at this. I feel like it's important. All right. We have the Six of Wands. Well, that's the energy of victory. Hello, Fool. And then hello, world. Now, I'm not gonna, I don't know why I keep saying this because it's like I don't want people to think that I want you to take back anyone who's like that carries narcissistic type energy, anyone who, you know, laid hands on you. Like, no, your spirit guides wouldn't even suggest that to you. So this wouldn't be that, just so you know that. But the fool does signify letting the past live in the past and instead enjoying the present moment, moving forward. I love the fool was right above the Ace of Cups. And then it moves right into the world, the next chapter. So how interesting that I feel like this person wants to reach out, but then I don't know what to do, and then I want to reach out, and then I get scared, and it's just like just reach out. And I also feel like if there is a if there is communication, I feel like we need to actively listen to each other. Like, all right, you take the platform, and I'm going to actively listen to you with my spiritual ears. And then when you're done, then I will take a platform. In other words, what I mean is when one is speaking, I'm not already sitting here thinking of my response. I'm listening. I'm listening with my spiritual ears. And I say that because you'll know if something is the truth or not. But it feels like the truth. Okay, let's just go below. Two of Wands. Will you step on this new path with me? And again, this is their current feelings for you. And I feel like they appreciate so much about you, but that doesn't promise us that someone's going to treat us well in the moment. I'm also thinking as this page, the Seven of Swords can and the Five of Swords can relate back to their younger energy. And I think I said this in Scorpio's reading where sometimes you don't know what you know until you know it. I didn't realize that I was such a taker, and now I get it. Where you were such a giver, and here I was such a taker, but you loved me anyway. And now I get it. Will you take this journey with me? Well, I don't know. I'm not sure. Two twos back to back. Now the two swords is coming under judgment. So they definitely want you to rip off that blindfold. Doesn't mean you have to accept this, but have your eyes wide open. Because again, it is you carrying the Ace of Cups. Depending on why you're here. But for the majority, it's, listen, I feel like the Ace of Cups is really for everyone on the board. And this is where their fear lied. That you may just say no, you may block it, but it's coming right under judgment. So judgment is saying, I feel like, take off that blindfold. If you're interested in this, if you want to block it, block it. But if you're interested in this, then that blindfold has to come off, right? Because everything's got to be out in the open. Because I feel like in past days, things weren't out in the open. And that could have been where a lot of the, I want to say destruction came in. I don't know if it went to destruction, but you know what I'm saying. And it is the Page of Swords, it's right above it. So it's like, yeah, I want to reach out, but I have a feeling I'm going to be blocked. But your spiritual team is like, don't wear a blindfold, because you don't need to. Like, okay, so yes, I love this person, but in the same breath, things were heavy. Things didn't go right. How do I know that it'll go right this time? Well, Judgment says you have to allow yourself to have a rebirth. This relationship has to be able to have a rebirth, which means we have to let go of the past. You know, and I do feel like a conversation will be had, and maybe that is what's going to allow you to like put the past in the past. Again, if you do accept this communication, then I hope you're able to like really listen, and vice versa. All right. Temperance, temperance, divine timing. Card of Sagittarius, by the way. But this is the actions they're currently thinking of taking. And no wonder this person in the Five of Swords is looking so intently at Judgment. Again, their spiritual team. Is it time? Is this divine timing? And temperance also ask you to let go of the things that you just cannot control anyway. It's like worry. Hand your worry over to me and just live life. I love the temperance as part of this because again, it's all in divine timing. And then we have the Queen of Wands, our Queen of Action. So I feel like I feel like through the conversation, something's going to be said or things are going to be said that are going to help the two of you put the past in the past. We have to realize that nobody is perfect. Nobody is perfect. And to shoot for perfection in ourselves, well, we'll never find it. So we can't expect another to be perfect either. However, we can expect someone to come to us in a certain vibration. And like if you still carry a low vibration, then I'm really not interested, even though you have the Ace of Cups here. What am I holding? Queen of Action. This queen moves according to her desires. So I feel like that blindfold must have come off. You must have heard your guides. And then last but not least, well, I mean, this is not the end, but look at this. The Hermit, your major arcana. Now it's coming under the Seven of Swords. But listen, what I love about this is, sometimes you see the hermit going into a cave. And to me, that represents going into the dark night of the soul. That means, I'm trying to figure things out. I'm asking those big questions. Sometimes I'm brought down to my knees, no doubt. But this hermit is emerging from the cave. And the hermit is shining his or her beacon of light outwardly. You know, it reminds me of you. And I'm sure it reminds them of you. And maybe they're now in that same energy. And by the way, the hermit's lantern is illuminating the snake down here. And to me, that's just another sign of saying you don't have to worry about these snakes in the grass because the illumination will be there. You'll see them. I don't feel like this person is a snake. That's not what I'm saying. But I feel like it helps you to let go of like fear based energy. I feel like this is an old soul, and I have a feeling you're both old souls. This person had to reflect upon their own actions. I don't know how they couldn't have. And I feel like, even though this is your card and I do feel like it's you, I also feel like it's them. Because above it is the world. And then the Fool. And remember, this is a 9. So it is reflection, but it's final reflection. It's almost like their guides were pointing out to them certain things, like helping them to work on certain parts of themselves, how to bring their own vibration up. And I feel like they did. And I feel like they do. I just want to take one over. Look at that judgment again. So I just wanted to look right at that 7 of Swords from the side. And here's judgment, a rebirth. Look at judgment looking right down at the Hermit. Like you two are old souls. You can overcome these obstacles of the past if you so choose. If you so choose. But now we have 2 judgments, both people spiritual teams. It's almost like this spiritual team is yours, saying that this person has reflected upon, let's just say, their past shortcomings. And again, I don't want to put all the blame on them, but I feel like whoever needed to do the reflection to move into the Fool's energy and to allow this love to blossom again and to move into the next chapter, this reflection had to be. But I feel like this is someone who's now emerging from that energy. So it's almost like your spiritual team is calling you to the present moment. Their spiritual team is calling them to the present moment. Their fear is that you may block it, even though this Ace of Cups is over here, but they may not know that. They may not know that you still have love for them. But I feel like with the Queen of Wands under this Ace, you know, I feel like it would be a yes, because to me, this queen is someone who moves according to her passions and desires. So if I desire you, then chances are I'm going to move forward. And I feel like both must have had some clarity. Now, listen, I think you have no interest in repeating a pattern. So that's the main thing. Has the pattern been broken? You know, this may be the lifetime where the two of you break the pattern of putting swords in each other. And I know it's, it could have been them, but maybe in previous lifetimes, because we experience what we have given. That's karma. So let's take Mother Mary over the reading. We have 3 Pentacles on the bottom of this deck, which I kind of like because that is about partnerships and alliances. But it's also, it's a celebration of the individual. It's like, you know, because we're talking about not a group of people, this means somebody, which I already know that. I can already tell that. It's like the recognition of one soul. We could have broken up and we could have been in other relationships, but I just get this feeling like nobody really, even though, like, some bullshit happened, I still feel like nothing or no one, at least in my heart, has measured up to you. All right, Mother Mary, over these beautiful couples, there's some words of wisdom. Self respect. Interesting. Same thing Scorpio got. I honor and love myself through my healthful actions and God. I step out of the way and surrender any need for control in order to make room for God's healing love to flow through me and this situation. I mean, God came out, divine timing, your spiritual team, the Ace of Cups, the Fool, the world. Yes, you do want to have self respect. And sometimes that just means like, I'm creating boundaries. I want you to understand my value and me yours. And then you have temperance here, which really is the same message that God is sending us. Step out of the way and trust in divine timing and know that really anything can be healed. And really, God is the ultimate judge. But I feel like that's pretty powerful energy to come out in your reading, Virgo. Interesting. Interesting. Look at that. The Three of Pentacles underneath that Ten of Swords and the Page of Wands. I wanted to see what was under the Ten of Pentacles because Ten of Pentacles to me can certainly be a repeat pattern. Um, but for some reason, I'm picking this up again for you guys as lifetimes. And, maybe this lifetime we're gonna come together. We're gonna break that curse, so to speak. Um, I would say this reminds me of the last past life reading I did. And readings don't really stick with me because I do so many readings that it's hard to like remember. But there's certain readings that just come to mind. And the last past life reading I did, I get a feeling the two of you are in it. Um, I'll try to remember to add that to the end of the reading if I can. Anyway, I'm going to let that be. I feel like the main energy here, no matter, whether you want this, even though you have the Ace of Cups, or you don't, still have your eyes wide open. You just never know. This kind of reminds me, and I know a lot of you know my story, but, Sam and I were together when we were young, and it didn't work out. We were in love, don't get me wrong, but then life just gets in the way. You know what I mean? And I moved away. I moved to a different state, was gone 40 years, and then my phone rings just out of the blue. And now we are in union. So you just never know. But you do need to have your eyes wide open. I feel like that is the message that your guides really want you to know. Like, no matter what your decision, just have your eyes wide open, have your spiritual ears open. Let God do the judgment, the judging, and get on to loving if that's truly what you want. Like, get on to loving. Don't let fear stop you because I feel like that's what's happening with this person. They're going back and forth. I want to reach out, but then I get nervous and I don't. It's almost like I pick up the phone, I start to dial the number, and then I hang up the receiver. That's how old I am, that type of phone. But that's what I feel. Like I pick up the receiver, I start to dial the number, and I'm like, and I put the receiver back down. I'm like, eh. So I feel like eyes wide open for both. All right, Virgo, I'm gonna leave it there. Um, very interesting, very interesting, and I love that you came out in your own reading. But I do feel like this is both of you, to be honest. Now, it could be a Virgo, 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 Virgo. I'm with the Virgo, and I'm a Virgo. could be that, but I just feel like really what it's speaking about is the reflection, real reflection. And I also feel like their spiritual team and your spiritual team both are really helping to bring clarity, and then I also want you to think about the Fool because, the Fool coming above that Ace of Cups, to me, that means there's a very good chance, especially with the world right next to it, of this being for the rest of your lives and maybe even after that, like lifetimes. But you do what you will. That is free will. But sometimes we do have to trust in divine energy. Divine is just trying to lead us, you know, just trying to lead us. And I don't feel like divine would lead us into anything that is not good for us. Lessons, yes. But if there are lessons, it's because you can learn them. I don't feel like God would throw you into any type of lesson that you could not learn, any kind of situation that you cannot overcome. And I know that I've been through very difficult situations, and I know that you can overcome. But bottom line is the choice is yours. It's free will. All right, I'm gonna let that be. As always, Virgo, I thank you. You know I love you. Um, I always love doing Virgo's reading, not because I'm a Virgo. It just I always feel like we go in depth with Virgo, which is what I like to do. I always feel like I'm like the psychic detective, but that's what I want. Anyways, I love you. I thank you. I'll see you either next time in the live readings or I will see you back at our table. Bye bye.